Hey y'all, hey darlings, hey. Fit check, fit check, fit check. Okay, she's a goddess. Okay. Yes, the outfit is see-through. Yes, I put on lingerie underneath because what? Y'all don't get to see my nibbly bits? That's for my husband. Now, anyways, if you know and you're a fan, then you know. Why does my fro look crazy? This fro just do what it want to do, y'all. It's fine. It's fine. Okay? It's fine. Anyways, if you're a fan, you know I love trees. Look at this beauty behind us. So, she's a cherry oak. Okay? Look at her. So big. Her roots are so big. So, I didn't expect this to turn into the tour of trees around my hometown, but y'all, I really do be loving these trees, guys. So I be seeing them, and then I just be stopping, and I'm like, let's show off this beauty. Look at her roots; they're so big. You can tell they cut some of her limbs, but she's still so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like me, they cut some of my limbs. I'm still you. Yeah. Okay, so y'all know I had to find somewhere in the shade to sit down. Don't play with me. So, today, guys, first of all, thank you guys for all the love and support. Shop the merch. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep sharing the link with your friends and family to the YouTube. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Thank you guys so freaking much, okay? Thank you so much. I cannot tell you how appreciative I am. It literally humbled me. It literally made me cry. Like, you like me? You like me like me? You like me like me? You like me like me? Thank you. Okay? Maybe want to do a little dance or something. Um, anyways, so guys, let's talk about it. Power and responsibility. That's what's been on my mind heavy. Um, and what I mean by power and responsibilities, everybody has their own right to choose, right? You have a right to choose what you say, choose who you hang with, choose how you respond, choose your job, choose your home. Like, you have a lot of choices. It's your right, right? You have a choice all the time. You are perfectly within your right to say yes, to say no, to say I don't know. But my question then becomes, once you realize that you are in a position of power, and it could be anything, right? Your position of power might be your position of power as a parent. You have now the power and authority over children. Your position in your job. Even if you're not a manager, but you know that if you don't do these tasks, the rest of the shift isn't going to go great. The next team that comes in isn't going to have everything set up the way they need it. You are now in a position of power. What you choose to do will dictate other things. When you realize that people trust you, you're a confidant, they depend on you, they respect you and your advice and your knowledge and your wisdom and your skills and your talents, you are now in a position of power, because what you say and do will have an effect on the people that are looking to you, whether it is your children, whether it is your coworkers, whether it is, your friend group, your church group. Like, it doesn't matter. When you realize that you are now in that position, doesn't that come with a sense of responsibility? Because if you take that position lightly, and although you're in charge of these children, you're making poor decisions and you're misusing your power, what is your responsibility? I'm not saying you don't still have a right to choose, but doesn't that position of power imply that you have a level of responsibility to maintain, that you're not misusing your power, you're not taking it for granted, you're not abusing the people who are looking to you, who basically gave you this power, right? Because as a parent, your children gave you the power because now you're their parent. And as a coworker, your boss gave you this position, and you know what I'm saying, whether you're a manager or whatever, it doesn't matter, just a regular coworker, the position you're in, it holds a sense of power. Now, you might not run the whole show. Obviously, like even with parents, there's more than one parent. Um, in a job situation, there's a big boss, there's an underboss, there's co-workers and shift leaders and team managers. Like, there's so many people that are placed in different rankings, but ultimately everybody on the team has a position of power, because if you fail to do what you need to do, it can disrupt everything for everyone else. So the positions of power might not make a difference if you don't do what what's required of you. um, when people trust you for your advice, business advice, relationship advice, whatever, and if you mislead them and they took that advice, or if you shuck it off like, well, I don't have time for that today, and you just tell them anything, but they hold your words with weight, they hold your advice to be sound, and they move on that. Doesn't that put you in a position that your responsibility must match the position of power you're in? It, as a parent, as a coworker, as a friend and a confidant, like, it doesn't matter. When people are placed in positions and you now have this power, your actions, your words, your thought process, your plans, your goals, ultimately all of that is part of your power. But your power has the ability to affect other people, so shouldn't you use it with caution? Shouldn't you be very aware of your actions, the things you say, how you move, your goals, your planning? Like, shouldn't that level of responsibility come with the power, or should it not? Because you didn't ask for that position of power and you're in it and you're just figuring it the fuck out. So there's no responsibility that comes with it. The responsibility that comes with it is, I'm just doing the best I can. I'm just a human. You know what I'm saying? I'm bound to fuck up. I don't know. For me, I think the day I became a parent, the day I took my first job, I ultimately realized that, like, what I do, what I say, how I move, even if I don't think about the consequence, there is going to be one. For every action, there's an equal reaction. So even if I think I dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's, the result still might not be something I ever anticipated, because there's so many variables, right? Everybody has their own choices. There's so many outside factors. It can change the perfect plan. So I think understanding that when I became a parent, when I became a wife, when I got my first job, whenever a friend asked me for advice or for help, ultimately I did absorb that, hey, this isn't a position that everyone gets to have, right? This isn't a power that everyone has access to. This is me, this is mine. And if I'm going to show that I appreciate it, show that I understand, show that I know this level of power isn't to be taken lightly, I tried to make sure my responsibility matched up. Now, I'm not perfect, so clearly I have not always succeeded at that, right? Sometimes my power and the position I was in, I didn't think about it hard enough, long enough, and I just reacted, I just responded, I just did whatever. I misused my position of power because the people around me were ultimately affected by the choices I made, right or wrong, good or bad. But I think it's kind of scary in today's day and age, where you have so many people that are in positions of power, right? They're social media influencers, they have lots of children, they're the boss at their job, whatever, and they take it so lightly and they just say anything, they just do anything, they don't care. But because you're in that position of power, the people that you're affecting with your choices, with your actions, with your words, it feels like it's cheap. It feels like, well, damn, you're in this position, but did you not want this position? Do you not care that what you do has an effect on other people? And truthfully, everybody doesn't care, right? There are plenty of people who wake up every day who don't think about nobody else but what looks good, feels good, smells good, tastes good to them. And that's a great way to be if we were not a community species. Human beings long to be together. They long for community, for a sense of purpose, for a sense of togetherness and unity. Even though we have all these differences and differences of opinions, people still long for that closeness and to be together. So I think to be in a community, to be part of a group, a family, a co-worker, environment, whatever. When you're in that group and you have you have this position of power, you should also have this sense of responsibility. Now, I can't dictate what level of responsibility you should have or how serious you should take it, because every scenario is a case by case basis. But I do think it is important that you understand that there is a level of responsibility that comes with every single position of power that you'll find yourself in over the course of your life. If you're the captain of the football team, it matters that what you do, your work ethic will rub off on your teammates. You know what I'm saying? If you're a parent, what you do will reflect on your children, good, bad, or otherwise. As a spouse, as someone in a relationship, as a partner, what you do will affect your partner. It will affect their feelings, their finances, their stability, their mental health. It will affect them. And when you're part of a church organization, and even any community organization, if people are depending on you, if people are trusting you, if people are relying on you to be dependable and to maintain that energy, that does come with a level of responsibility. And I think that people should pause more often to look at what is your level of responsibility. No, you're not Superman. You're not Wonder Woman. You cannot save the whole world. But you are very much in charge of you. You are very much in charge of how you dictate and move through life. You are very much in charge of the things you say, your actions, your responses, and also being open to having a change of heart, being open to have a change in thought pattern and process and planning and goals, because as life goes on, changes are needed. What you thought it would be last year, 5 years ago, it's not going to be that. Life be life, and we all know that. Life will whoop your ass quick. So I think it bothers me so much that I notice how indifferent people are. Like even in our music, right? There are rappers that were saying like, I'm a millionaire and I can't read. That's such a terrible image to put off to children, because they want to get rich, they want to have the lifestyle, but if they think they can do it without reading, what's the narrative we're pushing here, right? If the narrative is that you can have children, but as a woman you can have children, but you don't have to have any dealings with the dads, or you don't need to build this community village around you, what kind of image is that put off? That we don't need each other? That's not true. We need each other. We are all human beings, and we're all in this life experience together. So you need each other. And it took two of y'all to make a baby, so it's definitely going to take more than two of y'all to raise a baby. If you know anything about children, you need a village. You need a village. You need a strong village of multiple ideas and perspectives and personalities to raise children. As a coworker, right? You're not inclined to like everybody you work with. You're here for a job, you're here for a paycheck. But ultimately, if you don't do what's necessary of you and complete your task, it will make the day longer for everyone else. It'll make people have to redo your mistakes. It'll make maybe your job be at risk because you're not fulfilling the responsibilities of the position of power you were put in. And I think it is important that we understand, no matter how minute you think it is, no matter how much you think it doesn't matter, no matter how much you think, well, oh, this is just my life and whatever I do doesn't affect anybody else. That's simply not true. In most scenarios, you are in a position of power in some way in your life, in your corner of the world. And what are you doing with your power? What is your responsibility? Because if you have that power and you're in that position and you think you don't have any responsibility, that's ignorant. You do have a responsibility. You do have a sense of this is what this position of power requires to maintain it, to elevate it, to strengthen it, and to be blissfully unaware or act as though your actions or your words don't have an effect on the people around you. It's insulting. Because when you ultimately let people down, when you hurt people, when you misuse their trust, when you don't fulfill your responsibilities, and people were relying on you and depending on you, yeah, okay, it reflects poorly on you, but ultimately it sets you up for, as you go along, the next person, it will know not to depend on you. The next scenario you're in, someone won't be so quick to put you in a position of power or to turn to you for advice or to listen to what you say, because you already proved when you had a position of power, you didn't take it seriously, you put no responsibility behind it, so they're not willing to do it again. And the way you form a habit is by repeating the same thing over and over again. So if you're constantly in a position of power and you're constantly dismissive of it, you're constantly acting as though it doesn't come with any level of responsibility, acting as though you don't understand what you do and the effect it has on the people around you, your community, your family, your work group, your church group, your relationship. It is, I don't want to say it like, oh, doom and gloom, but it is almost certainly a recipe for failure, because the other person that's looking to you, that's depending on you, that's trusting you, that's relying on you because you're in this position of power, they will be affected and they'll be less likely to trust you again. And then now you've given them a reason to not trust the next person. Well, the last person I saw in this position of power, they didn't do their job. The last manager I had didn't do their job. Like, it just sets a tone. You know, the last time mom or dad promised this and they didn't do it. Like, it sets a tone and it becomes your pattern. And if the goal is for all of us to be happy, healthy, successful, productive, growing, strong, valuable, respectable members of society, then it does take accountability. It takes self-awareness. It takes understanding where you are, where you want to go, and remembering where you started from. Because forgetting where you started makes it easy to not appreciate where you are. And it makes it easier to lose sight of the goal, right? Because if you get so stuck on, this is where I'm at right now, and you're not able to look back and see where you came from, and you're not able to look forward to see where you want to go, you box yourself in. So creating bad habits, and as we grow older, not being able to take the accountability, the responsibility that comes along with your power as an adult, as a productive, successful, healthy member of society, you create a bad energy, a bad space around you. Nobody wants to be around the person that can't ever take accountability for their fuck ups. Nobody wants to engage with the person that has an excuse all the time for why something didn't come together, but they never can tell you what they should have done better, or now that they've messed it up, how they could fix it going forward. Nobody wants to be around that person. That is childlike, right? Children don't take responsibility because they're not grown. We expect their adults to take responsibility. That's your power. So to be an adult and to slack off the responsibility that comes along with the position of power you're in, I think it is detrimental to your growth. I think it makes you stay stagnant, because the same power that you grew and accumulated to get into a position of power is going to be the same energy and mentality that and motivation that you need to push this position of power to the next one, right? That's why we always say you're climbing the ladder, you're trying to grow, you're trying to be better. Well, you can't do that if you don't understand, hey, when I had this position of power, this is how much responsibility it took. If I elevate my position of power, I have to elevate my level of responsibility and accountability and self-awareness to match that. And I think a lot of people end up thrown into a position of power, right? For whatever reason, right? There was a job opening, you stepped up, you become a parent, like whatever the opportunity that presents itself, and you find yourself now in a position of power that maybe you weren't anticipating. It is scary and it takes a lot of work, but truthfully, you are a better version of yourself when you take the time to say, okay, this is where I was. Well, this is where I started. This is where I was. This is the next leap I've taken. And this is what comes with this position now. It's not the same as before. It's not the same as when I started. It requires this level of patience and integrity and strength and forgiveness and hard work and, thinking outside the box. Like, whatever the position is, it always is going to come with, yes, more rewards, right? As you elevate in life, when they say more money, also more problems. And no matter how you elevate, you've got more people that listen to you. You've got more children. You're in a better position at your job, whatever. Maybe you're the junior pastor at your church. I don't know. But whatever the position you're in, once you realize you have now elevated, you then need to pause and make sure that you have elevated your understanding of your role, your responsibility, your level of accountability. Upgrade your self-awareness so that you can confidently, on a regular basis, meet the standard of responsibility that comes with your position of power. Because as a mother raising children, and you want to raise them to their next stage of life, right? That's our goal. Prep you for the next stage in life, all the way till we're not here no more. One of the key things I have tried to drill into them, my husband has tried to drill into them, is that enjoy being a kid now. Because once you become a grown-up, the largest portion of your life is doing the things that are necessary so that you can do some of the things that you want, right? You have to put in that work. You have to pay your bills. You have to be responsible so that you can go shop, take that trip, live your life, have the experiences. As kids, they're not in a position of power. But as they venture off into adulthood, they gain more and more and more power. They gain more and more elevated positions of power. They also have a higher level of responsibility. So making sure that they understand, like, hey, when you take that step, it's not kid game anymore. It's young adult. And young adults don't have mom and daddy do everything for them. Young adults figure it out on their own. Like, that level of responsibility elevates every time you take a step and you put yourself in a different position of power. So it makes me happy to know that I am constantly trying to be aware of myself, my responsibilities, my requirements for whatever position I'm in life, whatever power I do hold or don't hold. Looking forward to stepping up to the next level of power and responsibility, and also making sure that I'm implanting that in the young people who I'm in charge of their life, right? Making sure that me and my husband are explaining to them that this position you have now, you do not have power and authority. But as you venture off older and older into life, you will have more authority. You will have more power. And also, you will have more responsibility, because I think that is how you make a well-rounded adult. I think that's how you make an adult that is not only successful, but also considerate, that has a network of people that will be around them, that will stand firm with them, that will trust them, believe in them, uplift them, because they understand with every position of power they've been in, they had to up their responsibility, and they continue to do so and continue to be great. Even when you fail, right? Because being great doesn't mean that you never ever fail. That's just not the fact. You could be great and fail a million times. What makes you great is that you kept getting up, that you kept restarting, you kept trying again, and you learned something from every time, and you kept elevating. You kept elevating your knowledge, your game plan, your performance, and ultimately your power. So, and along those ways, you kept leveling up your responsibility. And I heard a quote that said, the people that are most happy in the world take full accountability for everything in their life. Everything. The things they did control, the things they didn't control, they take full accountability for. This is my life, this is my path, this is my journey, this is my story. And I think that's such a powerful quote, because when you take that accountability, it is you accepting your responsibility. It is you accepting your role. It is understanding that you cannot control everything, but the things you can control will have a major effect and dictation on how things will play out. The things you pour into are the things that will produce fruit for you. And the things that you don't and you let go to the wayside are the things that will starve and die. And with every new challenge, with every new task, with every new adventure, there is a new level of responsibility. There is a new level of responsibility. every single time. And it is such a powerful thing, and it's such a wonderful thing to embrace, to be proud of, and to instill in the people around you that just because you think, well, that's not my job, I don't have to do that, I don't have to be considerate, I don't have to think about that, I can just only think about myself, I can only be worried about me. Yes, you can. That is your right. But in the position of power you are in, your responsibility should match that, because that's how you're going to be the best version of you. Understanding who you are, where you started, where you want to go, what level you're at, and what responsibility that level holds for you. I think it is a very important lesson. I think it is very valuable. I think it is one of those things that constantly grows and changes with you throughout life. So I think it is important to understand it and absorb it at an early age, so that it's the thing you can constantly work on and constantly get better at over and over and over again. Um, I know I'm always working at it, you know what I'm saying, as the kids get older, as, you know what I'm saying, as life changes, as income changes, as marital status changes, you know what I'm saying, as more children are born, like, as new businesses are happening, and new adventures in education and entrepreneurship. Like, it doesn't matter, all these things have changed for me over the last couple years, right? And understanding that my position and the role I play, my power, means that I have to be willing and able to change my level of responsibility, to adapt to whatever curveballs, and continue to elevate myself, because in the position of power I am thus fully responsible to elevate the people around me. Um, my husband, my children, like all of our children. Um, I think any child that I have had an interaction with, my children's friends, my nieces and nephews, like, it's important for me to understand in this position, there's a level of responsibility because I'm in this position of power. So how am I using it? How am I growing it? How am I nurturing it? Um, the children of my friends, like, how am I using this position? How am I nurturing it? How am I growing it? Because I'm in this position of power to have access to these people's children, to love them, to have them love me back. That puts me in a position of power, not just with, like, the children in my home, um, with all of our children. um, it has been one of the great joys of my life to be able to love and mother so many children. Um, I literally love kids. I love kids more than adults. Um, I hope that my dream and my wants and desires God sees fit to let come true for me, and that I will get to give birth and mother more children. I already know that I got the joy of mothering more children when I got my husband, and now I'm going to mother more children. So it has always been a blessing to me, but it's always something that I knew came with a sense of responsibility, because children need you, right? They need you to be all that you can be. And you ain't got to be perfect, but you got to try every day. You got to get your ass up. So my husband needs me to be all that I can be, right? Even on days when I don't feel it and I'm out of it, he still needs me to be a valuable asset to his life. And I need that from him as well. So there's a level of responsibility that comes with this position of power. So for me, I definitely knew for a long time that the position of power you're in comes with a level of responsibility. And I noticed that it's always changing. And I hope that more people take the time to look at your life and where you're at, where you started, and where you want to go, and understand that whatever position you're in does come with a level of responsibility. And you should evaluate what your responsibility is and how you're using that and how you're bettering that. Because if you ultimately hope to level up, to grow your power, to grow the position of power you're in, then your responsibility will grow. And if you let one outweigh the other, it's a recipe for failure. Um, I haven't always, like I said, met my requirements for my responsibilities. I'm a flawed individual, as we all are, right? We all have to learn We all try and fail. We all think we made a right decision, and sometimes we just fuck it up. These things are all true, but the constant change, the constant understanding that it will change, the constant ability to self-evaluate, to ask an outside perspective like, hey, what do you think? It is valuable to you. It builds you, it strengthens you, it grows you. And for me, I am so excited for whatever level of responsibility comes with every single position of power I've ever been in and will be in. I am excited because it always challenges me. It always pushes me to grow, to be better. I like seeing the children absorb something new and use it for their own self. I like learning something new. I like the new journeys and the new adventures. It keeps life from being boring and stale. You're always evolving, you're always changing, you're always pushing, you're always striving. And hell yeah, look at you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Look at you being great. Look at you not giving up. Look at you being determined. Look at you working harder than the next man to get your goals and your ambitions done. Look at you striving, elevating, ascending, being fabulous in all your glory and all your power and all your strength. You know what I'm saying? Look, just feel the energy. Look at you. It's happening. And the more accountability you take for yourself and your position of power and your responsibility, the better you will be from it. Like, that's why I say I'm a goddess. That's why I call my husband my chocolate god, because standing in your power, living in your truth, pushing yourself on a regular basis, pushing the people around you, motivating, inspiring, uplifting, loving, supporting. Those are the things that pour into who you are, that make your aura bigger, that make your touch bigger, that make your shine and your light 10 times brighter. It is what will draw people to you. It's what will give people a sense of confidence and trust in you and the things you say. You will be the example that you hope to be to your friends, to your family, to your loved ones, to your coworkers, because they will be able to see it. They might not know what it is, but it's something about you. And that all comes from pouring into yourself and to your power, to your strength. So, I appreciate that so much. So that was today's episode, guys. Make sure you guys shop the merch. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, share the link on your social medias with your friends and family. We on our way up. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get to 100K views. And shop the merch, guys. Shop the merch. I love you guys. I fucks with those who fucks with me, and you fucking with a real one, okay? But before we go, let's look at this beauty. Look, y'all. She has so much character. I think this is a boy. There's stuff in this hole. This is the perfect tree for climbing. And if I wasn't trying to break a nail, I would climb this tree. But I ain't trying to break a nail. But look. These roots literally take up most of the park right here. So this is a beautiful tree. And I just wanted to share it with you guys. This is another oak tree, obviously. And everything in me wants to climb this tree, so let's try. Period. Okay, jump. We love the trees, and they love us back, the giants of the world. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Shop the merch.